Good day, guys, from Plant Review. Today we talk about one of the most beautiful bulbs and famous bulbs in cultivation in the garden, blooming usually in mid-spring, and is the crown imperial, the Fritillaria imperialis. The Fritillaria imperialis, it's a member of the family of the lily family, the Liliaceae, and it comes from areas in the Middle East, between Turkey, Iraq, Turkmenistan, and grows in many regions of the Himalayas. It grows in full sun, very well drained soil, and in the wild it's several individuals of these plants can be found growing together in beautiful prairies of these quite tall flowers. This is actually one of the tallest bulbs. Doesn't reach obviously the height of a lily. However, it is about 3-4 foot tall, so about 1 meter, between 70 centimeters and 1 meter tall. Indeed, as you can see, I had to actually tie the stem to a raspberry behind in order to keep it erect. However, probably because I planted this bulb quite in a shallow area. If you plant this bulb quite deep in the ground, about 3-4 times the diameter of the bulb, actually they can stay pretty easily erect by themselves. The bulbs need to be planted in autumn, like most spring blooming bulbs, and it is characteristic because it's actually the smell is quite musky. You can actually recognize it's a very strong smell, not very pleasant, at least not for me. They are quite expensive. In UK you can usually buy at full price Fritillaria bulbs, about 4.5 pounds each. However, as usual at the end of the season, if there is still any available, sometimes you can find good deals like half price. So it's being a pricey bulb, I would recommend you to buy at least a couple if you like this flower early in the season, and then wait for some good deals at the end of the season. Hopefully you will be able still to find some available and buy many more to have your own crown imperial bulb. Crown imperials starts growing in winter. They grow, actually, as you can see, the leaves, well, in this individual quite broad. Some individuals I have quite narrower leaves, and the stem actually resembles very much a lily at the start of the growth. However, in early spring you can actually see from the main leaf, the stem, erecting a bare leaf, the stem, that is actually where the flowers will bloom. And is very unique in this species of Fritillary to have a wall of flowers surrounded by a crown of leaves, hence the name, the crown imperial. This plant is actually one of the most important garden plants, not only in Europe and the USA, but obviously also in the Middle East, where it comes from. The flowers are campanulate, and as you can see, they're about 4 or 5 centimeters in length, and about 3-4 centimeters in diameter. The color varies widely. In the wild, the color is about red-orange, like in most of the varieties grown in the garden. However, you can also find yellow and red. Also, there is a variety that has a double hole of flowers on the crown. It's very look sought after indeed. Yes. Also, they've been selected also some varieties that have like a salmon pinkish color. However, personally, I prefer this bright red orange. Very typical of this flower is also the fact that inside you can see a lot of nectar. As you can see, these drops at the end of in the cup of the flower, and the base of the flower is black, so with white spots, so you can see the nectar is actually very evident in as a droplets at the base of the flower. This is a very unique structure. It's not very easy to find pollinated flowers in the garden. However, sometimes it occurs. There has been a study in Cambridge that actually found out that even if these Fritillaria plants are visited by bees, especially bumblebees, they are usually not able to pollinate successfully the flower, because basically they enter in the flower without actually reaching the reproductive part. This is the female part, the stigma, and these longer rods are basically the male part of the flower, the anthers that contains the pollen. What instead has been found successful was actually when this flower was visited by birds, basically in particular the blue tits, but also in a German study they found the great tits able to pollinate this flower. So basically the bird perches here on the stem of the flower and basically put the head in the flower, considering that the head of the birds of the blue tits are quite big. They obviously to lick the nectar at the end of the flower, they have to brush their head on the reproductive part of the flower, and visiting different flowers in a row, they are actually able in this way to pollinate this flower. So it actually might be one of the very few examples of bird pollinated flowers you can have in the garden. About cultivation, this is a plant that as most bulbs need full sun, and well, it grows indeed in the wild in very sunny areas and very well drained soil. Is a plant that can make a very bold statement in your garden, especially if you grow it in groups. Beware anyway, as I said, it's quite an expensive bulb, so you might need a little bit of money to make a nice big group in the garden. However, definitely it worth it. This is again to pollinate this flower is not very easy. Also, I read that these flowers do not readily accept pollen from the same plant, so you need to have at least two plants flowering at about the same time. And well, I actually do have another one here nearby, and yeah, luckily it also, well, this one, as you can see, it has been eaten a little bit by snails. This plant usually doesn't have many parasites. However, as many members of the lily family, is attacked very much by snails and also by the lily beetle, so you have to be very careful in monitoring periodically the leaves, that in order that they do not get attacked by the lily beetle. So what I would do now is just, okay, the pollen in this plant seem quite ready. You can see actually a little bit of dust in the anthers. Yeah, so I'll just take one of these and try to pollinate. Okay, so I'm trying to pollinate the anther. Sorry. definitely it's a very rough attempt. I will try again in the next few hours, because I definitely would like to try to develop seed pods from this plant, and to hopefully increase the number of crown fritillaries in my garden. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.